Hi, this is Charlie Page, owner of the Directory of E-Zines, and I want to share with you a success formula that works across many different things. I call it how to succeed at anything. And if you think that's a bold claim, hear me out. Listen to the rest of this video. Tell me what you think. Is there a true universal formula for success? We know that there are universal formulas. We know there are absolutes in the universe. And sometimes they're hidden from us. Gravity is not something I can see, but gravity works every single time. When I let go of something in my hand, it drops to the earth. So is there a true universal formula for success? If there is, how can we find it and apply it to our lives? Goal setting, for example, has been proven effective since Aristotle. And since the 1960s, much has been written about goal setting. Edwin Locke defined how goal setting works. You've probably heard the idea of SMART goals. He came up with that. And so we know by now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that there is a universal formula for setting and achieving goals. If you set goals this way, you will achieve them. It just works every time. Seth Godin and Zig Ziglar made these observations about goal setting. Number one, they said that there were three things that you needed to pay attention to. Number one, go in small steps. Small steps work, so you want to take baby steps. Number two, consistent effort works. In other words, it's not the big heroic effort that you make, it's the daily effort that you make. Small steps made daily. And group support. People need support. No person is an island, and you can't go it alone. And so you need support. They said, Zig Ziglar and Seth Godin, who learned goal setting, by the way, from Zig Ziglar, said if you do these three things, you can be assured you will achieve your goals. But what about growth in a non-goals area? What about if you're not setting a goal to make a lot of money or lose a lot of weight or meet the person of your dreams? What about other areas of your life? Things like learning a new language or succeeding in your online business. Well, there is a formula that works, and it was brought to fame by a Japanese violinist named Suzuki. This was an interesting man. He lived to be 100 years old. And he taught children to play the violin using a natural teaching method. Now, if you've ever tried the violin or seen it played, you know that's not an easy thing to do. And he's teaching children who couldn't speak yet how to play the violin using a natural teaching method. They learned the violin before they knew that the violin was supposed to be hard. That's a big part of this. Here's a picture of him. You can look him up on Wikipedia or just Google his name. He was a fascinating man. Here are the 5 steps that he observed. Number one, exposure. Now, we're going to go through each of these steps in more depth, and we're going to talk about how they apply to your online business. Step 1 is exposure. Step 2 is imitation. Step 3 is encouragement. Step 4 is repetition. And step 5 is refinement. This is a brilliant system, and it really works across many different areas. Now let's apply this to our online marketing and see how it works out in the real world. Step 1, exposure. Well, exposure means you become aware of a new idea. Now, you may never have heard of solo ads in your life, and all of a sudden you want to promote a product and you hear about the wonders of solo ads, so you're exposed to that idea. Same thing for pay-per-click, or the same thing for Facebook ads, or for doing content marketing. You may have never heard the term content marketing, but yet you hear how effective it is, so you've become exposed to it. Step 1 is exposure. Step 2 is imitation. Now, if you want to do a new thing, what is your natural inclination? Your natural inclination for most people is to find someone who's doing well and imitate what they do. That's why step 2 is imitation. You imitate the actions of others who are succeeding with the idea. Now, a lot of people get stuck in this step, and that's unfortunate because imitation is only supposed to last a short period of time, but many people get stuck in this step thinking, I'm just going to imitate this person or this woman, and then I'll succeed too. They believe if they can just do what others do, they'll have the same success. And while that is a starting point, it doesn't work that way. You just can't carbon copy somebody else's life. It's really not that simple, is it? This is why we all need to take the next steps. I do, and you do. Step 3 is encouragement. Encouragement is incredibly important. Now, a lot of people will downplay this step. They'll say, I don't need encouragement. I know what I'm doing. I can tough it out. But you know, we all need encouragement. No one succeeds on the first try, and that's why you need encouragement. You know, you didn't learn how to walk or ride a bike or drive a car on the very first try. You need encouragement to continue so you can improve. That's what encouragement does. It helps you continue so you can make improvement. Now, this one is tricky. There are many people who will encourage you to do what they want you to do, but not as many people who will connect to your goals. That's why it's important to find the right encourager. You want someone who will encourage you in the way you need encouragement to achieve your goals. They do exist. You might even be married to one. I know I am, and thank God I am. Zig Ziglar said this: to share your give-up goals with everyone, but to share your go-up goals with only a trusted few. Now, a give-up goal is something you want to give up, like smoking or drinking or cussing. Your go-up goals are where you want to go higher, like having your first $100,000 sales month or writing a book. You share these goals with very few people, only the people who will truly support and encourage you. Find someone who will encourage you in your goal, who wants you to win. If you can't, learn how to encourage yourself. I do that every day. I read my Bible, I read books by Zig Ziglar, I listen to tapes by people like Og Mandino, and I encourage myself that if others can do it, I can do it too, and I encourage myself by learning techniques. You feed your mind with good, clean, positive messages, and that provides the encouragement you need, along with encouragement from other people. Now, step 4 is repetition. This is a very important step and one that doesn't need to be missed. You really can't skip any of these steps. There's no shortcut in this way. Very few people succeed at anything on their first attempt. That's just the real world. That includes walking, asking a girl out on a date, or running an ad to make sales. The first time you try a new thing, the odds are you're not going to succeed as much as you want to, but you learn, and that helps you persist. When you have the right plan and the right encouragement, you have what you need to keep trying. In the repetition stage, you move from imitating someone else to making an idea your own through experience. You've written enough headlines now to know what a good headline looks like. You don't have to copy somebody else's classic headline. You find a way that works and begin to repeat it. That's why it's called repetition. That might be testing headlines and finding a winner. It might be testing traffic sources and finding one that works for your particular offer. You begin making the incremental progress that leads to achievement. Now, step 5 is refinement, and step 5 is a very important step. Refinement is where you make your greatest progress, really. You've found something that works. It could be weight loss. It could be making money online. It could be meeting a new person. It could be parenting. You found something that works, and you can repeat it over and over again. So now you know it works. Now you know it works for you, and it's repeatable. That's very important. Now it's time to make it better. That's called refinement. Let's say you run an ad for $200 and you earn back $250. Well, that's good, but that's not what you were really looking for. It's great because you're in the black, but it's not really what you were looking for. So what you do is refine that process so that that $200 brings back $300, and then $400, and then $600. Now let me tell you, these are not just arbitrary examples. I have a friend who spends about $100,000 a month in advertising, and here's what he told me. He said on most campaigns that he runs, it takes him a couple of months to get settled out to where the thing is returning making a great return, and then he looks for a 10 times or 12 times return on investment. Well, he can do that because he's been through all these steps. So 200 bringing back 600 is not unrealistic, but it is unrealistic if you expect it to be your first experience. Refinement is like all things. It's best done in small steps. It's when we try to spend $200 and earn $2,000 that we experience failure, disappointment, and frustration. Now here's why. The person falls for the hype and believes the instant 10 times your money back myth. So they spend $200 really believing they're going to earn that $2,000 because Mr. or Ms. Guru isn't going to lie about it, right? In some cases, far too many cases, that $200 is a huge amount of money to them. They can't afford to lose it. but they do lose it, and they don't earn back. They don't obviously earn the $2,000. In many cases, not even the $200 back, because they're trying to skip too many steps. You see? We've got to be willing to be patient and go through the steps. And the disappointment can sometimes be so great that they stop trying, or they simply can't afford to try again because they lost money. Of all the things I've done, almost none worked the way I wanted it to on the first try. But I took what did work and I refined it, and so developed a method that works again and again and again. I truly believe you can do the same thing. And this is one reason I give away so much free information at charliepage.com. I really hope you're finding this type of information helpful, because this is what works. This is what I've been doing for many, many years. What I teach consulting clients, and it's what works in the real world. Skipping steps, finding a shortcut, going from $0 to $100,000 in 45 days, those things just don't work. But these things work. Small, incremental progress. It's not just me saying that. It's Zig Ziglar saying that. It's Seth Godin saying that. It's a lot of people saying that, and it really, really does work. So let's recap. The 5 steps to success. Exposure. You learn about a new thing. Number 2, imitation. You find a leader in that field and imitate what they do. That's a valid starting point. But you can't get stuck there. You can't stay there. You've got to make it your own. Number 3 is encouragement. Find somebody to encourage you, or encourage yourself through discipline. You can do that. Step 4 is repetition. What you do is find something that works by imitating someone else. You make it your own, and you're able to repeat it as often as you want. That's the key. Once you've reached that stage, you instantly go into refinement, where you begin refining the results, refining the idea, and achieving greater and greater results. If you follow these 5 steps in almost any area of your life, and you're patient, and you're willing to make incremental progress and not looking for the big grand slam home run, you will find the success you're looking for. And that is a beautiful thing. This is Charlie Page. I really appreciate you being here. If you like this, you can get much more at my website, charliepage.com. I hope you visit me there. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.